What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Worth the Crowd podcast, where we talk everything sports. Well, just today, it's going to be college football, NFL, and then next week, the Ryder Cup. Next week's going to be fulfilled.
It's going to be an electric weekend, Doug.
Sports. Yeah, it's going to be it's insane. So yeah, week 3 of college football, we're going to cover the recap of that, and then looking ahead to week 4, and then
be week 4 of college football going into week 5. Sorry if I put that wrong on there, but week 3 of the NFL.
Yep. Week 3 of NFL. So, and then week 2 recap. So, and then we have an extra college football topic as well. So, let's go ahead and get into it.
Let's dive into that one. How about this week? News broke: the NCAA is eliminating the spring transfer portal window. So, Division I committee voted to approve a legislative change that eliminates the spring window, but did not sign off on establishing the January 2nd through 11th loan portal window. So here's my thing. So they eliminated the spring. So that's pretty much, players, kind of after spring camp right there at the beginning, right before your spring game, or right after your spring game, you're allowed to, jump in the portal. I would have done it the exact opposite. I would have got rid of the January 2nd through 11th portal. Because if you're a team competing in the college football playoffs, your players can just jump into the portal if they want. Now, obviously, more than likely, are your starters going to jump in? Probably not. If your starters truly want to transfer it, they'll wait for that spring portal, which, now they can't. But I don't need distractions inside my locker room during a CF. Like last year during the playoffs, watching – like Penn State's backup quarterback, who's now the Missouri starting quarterback, entered the portal. All year I've been preparing this guy as my backup quarterback. What happens if my starter goes down in the college football playoff? Like, look at Georgia last year. Carson Beck goes down. What if Gunnar Stockton had dipped? I get it. You prepare all your guys for, expect the unexpected. So I do get that. But, like, at the same time, we've gone all year. This guy is my backup quarterback. This is my plan. If my somebody goes down, now they just hit the portal and they're gone. And, some schools will allow players to play still if they want, just depending, I guess, on, like, agreements on the schools, I guess. I don't know exactly how that works out. But, there are some schools that are like, no, fuck it. You want to go? You're gone. Like, but I would have got rid of that portal. Like, we said this. I feel like the portal that's after that January 2nd through 11th portal, that should be a portal that opens up in February.
Right after the season's over.
Let's get the season over with. Let's give you about a month after the season, because there are some kids that will, because of how a season went, just make irrational decisions and just be like, fucking, I'm gone, because they didn't get the ball on the last drive of a game. If I wait for the season to be over, give it a month for these kids to think about these things actually and sit down and actually, maybe there isn't as many kids that jump in the portal. Maybe they still do. But let's give it some time after the season. Also, during that month period, it gives time for your coaches to try to recruit you back to the team. We've talked about before, coaching or recruiting now isn't as hard as it was back then. But that's one nugget that you got to think. Now, not only are you recruiting kids to come in as freshmen, you're recruiting kids out of the portal at other schools. You're also recruiting your own kids that you've already recruited there just to stay.
Yeah, that's true.
So, that is one wrinkle in this whole new system. And listen, I am all for the transfer portal. I love it. First of all, college, anybody that doesn't is an old head. Do I think there should be a cap, on how many times you can transfer and everything? Yes. I don't think you should just be able to transfer every year and just pick a different school. We see guys that, they like, oh, well, starting quarterback at Baylor is on his 5th school in 6 years. First of all, why is he there 6 years? Second of all, why is he on his 5th school? How about that? And, there should be a cap. We've talked about this before. We did a whole episode on this. There should be rules against, if you're going to transfer, after a second time, you got to give me a legitimate reason as to why.
Do we know why they chose that January window? It seems like an odd
Well, they
window to choose.
haven't decided on that yet. So,
Well, I'm saying in general, like that's been there for a while since the transfer portal
I don't
came.
know why they chose that.
Why that week? You know what I mean?
So this one,
It doesn't make sense.
the ESPN article says, in response to feedback from student athletes in the FBS and FCS, committees will discuss modifying the dates and length of the proposed January window. They decided on January 2nd because it's considered the day after the CFP quarterfinals. But again, I don't need that distraction. I don't need, I need to know my kids are all, quarterfinal, semifinal, not, even if they're not entering the portal. I don't need them thinking about, if I enter the portal, what can I get? I need you focused on the game.
Right.
So again, even if, like I said, even if they don't plan on entering the portal, I don't need them even thinking about it. So take the option away. I get it. Kids probably all year think about transferring. I'm not saying that. But when it comes to that time, opening up that portal window just opens up everything.
And people need to realize too, and I don't know why the NCAA doesn't see this either, but I mean, some of these are 18 or 19-year-old kids. They're not like, 24-year-olds that just graduated college, or 23, 24-year-olds that are in the NFL trying to make decisions for themselves. Some of these kids just got out of high school. And it's like, like you're saying, they need more time to think and process these things, because a lot of times when you're younger like that, you make emotional decisions rather than using your head. So I don't know. Yeah, NCAA, they're all always asked backwards as is.
Okay,
But I think eventually they can figure this shit out.
I think, okay, so they did make an adjustment from last year. So we talked about the Penn State quarterback or backup quarterback entry. So last year, the portal window, the winter, I guess you want to call it winter portal window, opened up on December 9th and was from December 9th through the 28th. This year, it's January 2nd through the 11th. So they did push it back a month, but still, a day after the quarterfinal, if you're in a semifinal, I don't need my player, especially the farther you get, the worse it gets. So I don't need you going into a semifinal thinking about if you're going to transfer or not.
That makes no sense. Even if they even pushed it back and still got it wrong.
Yeah,
I don't understand that.
So last year the winter portal window was December 9th through the 28th. The spring window was April 16th through the 20th.
There has to be a reasoning out there somewhere.
Now, and what we found out when Virginia Tech and UCLA just recently fired their coaches. So when your coach, the NCAA ruling on when your coach is fired, no matter when your coach is fired, it could be mid-season like this. So this is still technically open for Virginia Tech and UCLA. You have 30 days from the time your coach is fired to enter the portal if you want, because they deem a coach firing
that's enough for you.
Yeah, because some kids, like we talked about before, pick a school just off a coach. If that coach goes and you want to either go with him or just say, screw it, I don't want to be here because I was only here for him.
Yeah.
So be it. Yeah, again, I would have done it the other way. I'd have just said, fuck, I maybe push the spring window open or up a little more, but I would have kept the spring portal window open and got rid of the winter portal. And so I don't know. I don't like that because, again, I'm a head coach. I've already got enough stress going on in a quarterfinal and a semifinal if I'm there in the playoffs. Enough stress going on of, playing the game and doing everything that entails in that. I don't need to add on, are my players leaving? So,
yeah.
And I mean, unfortunately, I don't think that's anything you can really make a rule in the locker room of. You can't do that because you can't just tell a player when an NCAA portal window is open that they can't do something.
Yeah, no, you can't do that.
So, I don't know. I would have got rid of the winter portal window and just left the spring as is. Again, maybe push the spring up. Maybe you go, mid-March or something. But, yeah, I don't like. Maybe the NCAA does it on purpose because they don't want college football storylines going along with the NCAA tournament or anything like that. But.
No.
But yeah, I would have got rid of the winter portal. I don't agree with this at all.
Yeah. Well, maybe NCAA can figure their shit out. Probably not, though.
Moving on to the actual college football that went on yesterday, we did have some few good games. Most of these games yesterday, a lot of blowouts for the most part. The college game day yesterday was Miami and Florida, which was relatively close until about the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. Miami busted it open. They won 26-7. So other big games. I mean, I knew Indiana was good, but to beat Illinois 6-10,
It was a immediate
it's a big
like,
eye opener.
yeah, like you could tell off the bat that they were clearly better than Illinois in this game. Like, not even close.
Yeah. Now, let's not overreact because, Indiana did this last year where they won games early. They ran into who ended up being the national champion, winning Ohio State team. They did make the playoffs, but we're going to find out how good this Indiana team truly is the next 2 weeks because they're at Iowa next week, which is not an easy place to go play at. And then they're at Oregon the week after. So we're going to find out a lot about this Indiana team and how good they truly can be. And then pretty much after that,
I'll tell you. Oh
no, go ahead.
I was going to say Mendoza looked really well last night.
Like, listen, I was a big Curtis Rourke fan last year. He was really good, but Mendoza is different.
Yeah. No, he know, you can tell he knows what the fuck he's doing.
He was, again, this is against a top 10 Illinois team. Okay. He was 21 of 23 for 287 and 5 touchdowns.
That's insane. Now, a lot of that I think is game plan too, but I mean,
game plan. Lord. Indiana's got a really good group of receivers.
Yeah, they do.
But
and their defense,
you still got to go out there. You still got to go out there and perform.
Yeah, defense was lights out.
So anyways, Oklahoma Auburn, another top 25 matchup. That was a really good game. Oklahoma ended up winning 24-17. Oregon State, old Pac-12 rivalry. Oregon won 41-7. We talked about Miami, Florida already. Texas Tech and Utah at Utah. Texas Tech 34-10 win. Go Red Raiders. And then the two other really big games on the day. Michigan, Nebraska, surprising win on the road for Michigan to get it done. And then the Missouri, South Carolina game, Missouri ended up winning 29-20. But I think really the biggest story really that kind of everybody was talking about yesterday, and it's not even a top 25 matchup. Clemson losing to Syracuse. Clemson falls to 1-3 on the year. A lot of people, including myself, had Clemson either winning or in the national title game. And I think you did. You had Clemson in there as well, too, didn't you? Except you had Texas winning, right, in the championship, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
But I mean, there was a lot of expectations for this Clemson team this year, and they have fallen off a cliff.
Oh, it's bad.
I mean, you've got Cade Klubnik making excuses, talking about Syracuse players were faking injuries yesterday and
grasping at straws.
Yeah, I mean, dude, and so now the question I don't know, has to be, but I know Dabo's got a $60 million buyout, so I don't think they're going to fire him. But
it goes down to 57 after this year.
But I mean, what do you do?
I mean, you can't take one bad season for Dabo, who's done so much for Clemson. And I know as fans, you want to win all the time, but you got to step back and realize that if you have one bad season, you got to give him another chance. I mean, the dude's won how many national titles there? 2 or 3? And it's like, and you thought last season was going to be bad with the start they had, but they ended up making the playoffs. So it's like, I don't see making the playoffs now after losing.
No, there's absolute no chance. I mean, obviously they could somehow. The rest of the ACC fell apart.
Yes,
they found their way into the ACC title game and won somehow. It. Obviously,
right, but probably not. Miami is too good for that.
Miami's too good. Florida State's too good. Georgia Tech's too good. I mean, Louisville's still right there.
Yeah.
So I mean,
This is good. This is what it reminds me of. Is Florida State last year. This is what it reminds me of. So it's like Mike Norvell had so much success, and fans were so mad that he, only won 3 games or something last year. But the dude's still a good coach. He went out, recruited, he got his shit together, and now look at him. So it's still Dabo Swinney. He knows what the hell he's doing. So even if you win 3 games this year, give the man a break a little bit, okay? I bet next year they come back and are just fine. That's the, if I'm like an AD, I say, all right, once could be a fluke. One season could be a fluke. But you come back next year and you're still not winning games. Now there's a trend. And now you got to start thinking about, oh God, now has he just lost it? Talking about Dabo, has he lost the locker room? Like, what's happening? You got to start questioning things. But right now, there's no way even an AD, Clemson's AD is like even thinking about firing the guy. There's just no way.
Well, I know. And the other thing, that people talk about is the fact that he's just never, he refuses, just doesn't, I don't know, just won't use the portal.
And maybe that's something the AD talks to him about. They're like, okay, maybe we should think about trying to.
And Nick Saban said it on game day yesterday. He said, Dabo, you've got to, like, I get it. You may not like the portal. I understand that. You may not like it, but if you don't adapt, this game will leave you behind.
Right. And I mean, it will.
You've got to learn to adapt. And we talk about this with Belichick, specifically with, just football, just offense in general and everything. And we could see the same thing happen to Dabo. You don't adapt and you think just recruiting these players to Clemson as freshmen and trying to keep them is just going to get it done. It's not, because at the end of the day, there's going to be a team out there, even in your own conference, a Florida State, a Miami, who's been known to go out there and get transfer guys that are just going to get that 1 or 2 extra transfers that roster-wise you might be just as equal, but those 1 or 2 transfers are going to make a difference in that game somehow, some way.
Yeah, but what I don't understand is that before the season started, on paper, Clemson looked like the best team in the ACC.
Well, yeah. I mean, one of the best teams in the country.
Right. And so it's like, is this really the recruiting?
So I don't know.
Like the players, like Klubnik was a Heisman
and
preseason Heisman candidate.
Everybody's going straight to like offense, like with the offense, excuse me. They're going right to, the coordinators. And I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. Garrett Riley's the offensive coordinator. Last year, y'all had no problems with his offense. Secondly, this guy he was the offensive coordinator, took TCU to a national title game with their offense. All right. Your defensive coordinator is Tom Allen, who had tremendous defenses when he was the head coach in Indiana, had a great defense last year at Penn State. So we can't just blame the coordinators. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Again, I fell into it this year just a little bit in terms of just trying to pick them for a national title. But I think it starts with your quarterback. Cade Klubnik is just not that good.
Yeah. For someone who it was, I mean, it's a complete 180 from someone who was a preseason Heisman candidate to what he's doing right now. That's actually insane to me.
He's just not that good. Like,
right.
And that's where Dabo's got to take advantage of the portal. Is if your quarterback just truly isn't that good, go get you one. They're going to be out there. Go get you one. All right. And, don't quit thinking just because recruiting. Yes, it's great to recruit. Don't get me wrong. But if you don't have a guy at your position, you got to go get one. If you can't recruit it, then you got to go get in the portal. So I don't know. The downfall of Clemson is going to be studied this year, though.
Now
But the wild thing is that going back to this Clemson roster in 6 months from now or whatever the time frame is when the draft starts, you're going to hear 3-4 Clemson players go first, second round.
Oh yeah.
So that's what we're going to tail back and go, how the hell did you have 3, 4, 5 guys go first and second round in the NFL draft and you put out this season? I mean.
Yeah, and I think we should give a little credit to the teams they've played so far, minus Troy, who they should have beat by.
Minus Troy, and I mean Syracuse is good. Just talent-wise alone, you should have won that game.
Yeah, at home probably. But I mean, yeah, like Georgia Tech, not a bad team.
Yeah,
Haynes
LSU,
King is
very good.
I mean, you played LSU for the first game of the season, so it's like, I mean, let's give them a little credit. I mean, realistically, they could win out. I mean, and they still have Florida State on the schedule. So if they get their shit together in the meantime and they end up beating Florida State, we're talking less about this. So let's hinder the let's suppress the hate a little bit for Dabo and like what the hell's going on. But I mean, yes, I guess you can question it because you still have the press conferences. What happened yesterday was not a good look.
Yeah, Dabo's press conferences ain't helping him.
No, he's not. It's not, and that probably should be addressed. I mean, it is Dabo, and he's been there forever, so it's like he can say whatever he wants, and they're not going to do anything. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, they play North Carolina next. Battle of
you lose to North Carolina.
Yeah, they lose to North Carolina. We got some problems. There's some problems.
I mean, we might have to start talking about Dabo's job at that point. I mean,
yeah.
Did you see the photo I sent in our group text that said North Carolina Clemson is going to be played at 10 a.m. on Cartoon Network next Saturday?
That's hilarious. Well, I wouldn't surprise me if we see Belichick's girlfriend over on Clemson sideline trying to tell Dabo what to do.
Maybe. All right. And then as far as yesterday goes, with our picks from last week, we went 7-1. Only one we missed on was the Michigan-Nebraska game.
But you did, so good job.
Yeah. We're a team here, Doug. All right. But so then we move on to next week, where I might have some upsets next week. All right. So first, Florida State, Virginia. I think this is going to be a very high-scoring game. I think Virginia is a highly underrated team. Okay. Especially on the road, Friday night game. Could be maybe a little bit of a trap game for Florida State. But I think Florida State ends up winning 36-30. Washington, Ohio State, another great game. I'm going to find out everything I need to know about Julian Saint next week in his first true road game. But I do think Ohio State ends up pulling out the win. Bama, Georgia, I'm going Bama. I think they've got a lot to prove, and I think Bama's just whatever. I don't know what it is. Bama seems to have Kirby Smart's number no matter who's there. USC, Illinois next week. I'm going USC in a big win for them. I think Lincoln Riley's got them boys rolling. Maybe
they looked pretty good last night.
Yeah. LSU, Ole Miss. As long as Ole Miss is going to go with Trinidad Chambles, or whatever,
what a name.
Or however his name, however you say his last name. Now it's going to make me mad. I got to make sure I say it right. I don't want to butcher the name. Chambliss. Sorry. As long as they're going to go with Trinidad Chambliss, listen, I'm going to go with Ole Miss at home by a field goal. Auburn, A&M, I've gone back and forth on this, and I may still change this. But as of right now, I think Texas A&M's on a high. Auburn coming off a close loss to Oklahoma, where honestly you could make an argument where they were maybe robbed a little bit because of I don't know if you saw the discrepancy in that game. Oklahoma acted like they were substituting a wide receiver out, and they scored a touchdown off of it because Auburn paid no attention. And the rule book states you cannot use the substitution to deceive a defense. So maybe I have something to prove. Again, I'm going to go back and forth on this, but for right now, I'm going to go with Auburn. May end up changing that, but Oregon, Penn State at Penn State. I just cannot, for the life of me, trust James Franklin in a big game, even at home. And then Louisville, Pittsburgh. I think this is a close game, Doug.
It's going to be a close game. It always is at Pittsburgh.
I'm going Pittsburgh by just a narrow margin. Only because right now I need to know if Isaac Brown is okay.
Yeah, if Isaac Brown plays, we win this game. But I mean, Kewan Brown yesterday. I know we played Bowling Green, but he actually played pretty well.
Yeah,
we were missing both of our top running backs though, so that's tough.
As of right now, I need to know if Duke Watson and Isaac, even if Isaac Brown sits and Duke Watson plays, I feel a little bit better. But I just need to know that one of them are going to play right now.
This game scared me from when I saw it on the schedule to start the year, but because for some reason we've always not played well at Pittsburgh. And
listen, Pittsburgh's got a good quarterback, got a good running back. I mean,
they're
not a bad team.
The defense has to, tighten up. I mean, honestly, they in the late minutes of the game last week or yesterday, they gave up a couple big plays, but I mean, they've actually played. Our defense has played very well, all in all. But it's it all comes down to game plan, and the offense has to be able to move the ball. I'm just still not sold completely on Miller Moss. I don't know if Brom completely trusts the guy or what. They're not airing the ball out like I feel like they should have yesterday. Yeah, I don't know. If the offense can't move the ball, we're gonna struggle against these better teams in the ACC. So yeah, yeah, you're right though. That's gonna be it could be a field goal.
Yep,
for sure.
And then I'm gonna go upset on the road. Kentucky upset South Carolina. They always play South Carolina very well, and I feel a little bit differently now that Cutter's going to be playing.
Coming off a bye.
Coming off a bye week.
Couple weeks to prepare.
South Carolina's coming off a loss to Missouri. They haven't looked as great as they were, expected to be this year so far. So I'm going to roll with the Cats to win this one. So those are my picks for next week in college football. So an electric week of college football, that is, next week with a lot of good games. All right, moving to the professional rank of things. Doug, we're still riding on an all-time high of the Colts are going to the Super Bowl. Last week we beat the Broncos 29-28 off a last-second field goal thanks to a penalty.
Which it was a penalty.
It was. Daniel Jones, another fantastic game, 23-34, 316, touchdown and a rushing touchdown. Jonathan Taylor was Jonathan Taylor, which obviously helps. Other news, really, Joe Burrow gone, done for the year, basically, which hurts fantasy a lot for me. But Jake Browning stepped in, actually did not play terribly bad.
Yeah, and won the game.
Won the game. He did throw 3 picks, but 241 and 2 touchdowns in the game-winning rushing touchdown.
Picks? I didn't even know he threw 3 picks, though.
Yeah, 3 picks, 2 touchdowns, 241 yards, and then he had the game-winning rushing touchdown as well.
Over the top.
Yep, straight over the top. Ravens beat the Browns, which we talked about a little bit of this last week already, but just kind of recovering a lot of things. One thing we didn't talk about because we recorded on Monday this past week, Buccaneers and Texans, Baker leading another game-winning drive to win.
Dude's clutch, man. He's clutch.
And then the Chargers just embarrassing the Raiders. I don't know, 11 o'clock Monday Night Football. My goodness. I try to stay up and watch, but the game was just so boring to watch because of how lopsided it was. I couldn't.
Well, yeah. No, there's no way.
Justin Herbert continuing his MVP hopes this year along with Daniel Jones. You got a long ladder to climb to catch up to Daniel, buddy. But
you know what? If Daniel Jones continues his great games today on the road against a divisional opponent, now we're really in talks. Like, this isn't just a fluke. This is something that they figured out. Shane Steichen figured out with Daniel Jones. So this is a good test for the Colts today. Even though the Titans aren't that great, I know they're 0-2, but Cam Ward is still a dynamic quarterback. He can still make plays. So I think we'll have a decent game on our hands. So we'll see.
So, and then other breaking news, J.J. McCarthy going to be out next couple weeks.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Carson Wentz has returned.
I'll tell you what, if I'm Justin Jefferson, I'm ecstatic about this. Because it seemed like McCarthy was out there just winging it. Like, literally, I don't know if it's play calling or what, but to me, it just looked like he was out there just throwing the ball willy-nilly, to be honest. But if I'm Carson Wentz, you find Justin Jefferson.
Yeah. Well, and so that's my thing. They're saying McCarthy could be out at, up to 4 weeks. So let's just say in these next, even if he returns earlier than that, so in the next 2 to 3 weeks, if Carson Wentz plays good, and he doesn't even, I'm not even saying he has to be what Sam Darnold was last year. But if he's, just managing the game, not turning it over, Vikings are winning games, and, Justin Jefferson's getting his touches, people are happy. Do you switch back?
I don't. No way. You weren't, I guess this was your guy all year long, but it's like you're winning games and Carson Wentz is playing well and doing exactly what you want him to do, not turning the ball over.
So what I would do as O'Connell is I would disguise it. I would roll with Carson Wentz, and I'd be telling the media the reason why Wentz is still playing is because we're letting McCarthy, Wentz has played well enough. We're letting McCarthy take extra time to heal up.
Right. Something like that.
And then, you just try to hide it as, we really don't want to put him back in. But again, it all circles back to how do you, it's kind of like when we talk about does Sam Darnold get re-signed? How do you draft a quarterback top 10 in the draft and then not play him? But look at Anthony Richardson.
Good point.
But yeah, I mean, and then, yeah, I don't know. I actually feel for Carson Wentz. I hope he does really well. I thought he played outside of the last 2 games of that season with us. I thought Carson Wentz was great for Indianapolis. And I get it. Last 2 games of the season against the Raiders and the Jaguars, which took us out of the playoffs that year, weren't the greatest games. But especially when we signed Matt Ryan. That was our answer the year after. Like, why especially like I said, after Wentz had a good year, would you have not just re-signed Wentz and try to do it again the year after? But yeah, oh well. And then we have today's slate of games in the NFL. So here we go. I'll make my picks here as I speak for both of us here for the most part. Packers Browns in Cleveland. Green Bay's got to easily win this game. I think it's not even a close one.
No, that's not.
Colts Titans.
Is this a game where we maybe see Dylan Gabriel or?
I mean, they're still going. You're never going to see Shador. I think you could see Gabriel though.
He came in through a touchdown last week.
Yeah, but they still said they're riding with Flacco, which I think is dumb. I think at this point you just ride with, if you're not going to play Shador all year, just ride with Gabriel, see what you got.
Yeah, one of your picks. I mean, geez. Anyways, go ahead.
But yeah, don't forget Deshaun Watson's coming back soon. I mean,
yeah, buddy. Sauce Potters better watch out.
Colts Titans in Nashville. I'm riding with the Colts 30-17 over the Titans. Yeah.
Okay.
I think this is a big game for them. I think you get Travarius Ward back. I don't know if Latu's back just for certain yet.
He's available, right? But we're not sure if he's playing. And
then Tyler Warren was taken off the injury list as well, so we're good to go there. I got Colts winning 30-17. Falcons Panthers in Carolina. I'm going with the Atlanta Falcons. I got them winning 24-16. Texans, Jaguars, and Jacksonville. I'm actually going with the Jags. This Houston team has just, from CJ's rookie year, has just managed to fumble so badly.
Yeah, it's been bad.
And here's the thing. I love CJ, obviously. I like Nico. I like Joe Mixon now when he's healthy. And I love D'Amico Ryans, and I love the defense. The problem is, where's the offensive line to help CJ at? Like, everybody's talking about CJ keeps digressing or, is just getting worse. And all. I'm like, because his offensive line has gotten worse.
Yeah, like freaking Joe Burrow situation.
So, yeah. So, I'm going with the Jags in Jacksonville over the Texans, 23-17. Bengals, Vikings. I'm going to spoil Mr. Carson Wentz's debut. I'm going with the Bengals. Listen, Jake Browning is still okay. I think between Jake Browning and Carson Wentz, it's a level playing field as a quarterback.
Yeah, that's fair. And
right now, I think the Bengals just have a little bit more offensive juice with Chase Brown, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins to be able to get it done. So I've got them winning 24-20. Steelers, Patriots in New England. I'm going with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think the defense is able to rattle Drake May and them and get a win. 26-21. Rams, Eagles in Philly. By the time y'all hear this, but Zach, Scotty, cover your ears. Going with the Rams.
Scotty needs those tickets to go down.
Yep. I'm doing this for Scotty.
Yeah, right.
But I got the Rams winning. Rams have looked really good first 2 weeks of the year. Eagles have not really so far. I mean, they kind of struggled week 1 against the Cowboys, who last week struggled against the Giants. And then last week, you beat the Chiefs, but is that really saying much this year? Maybe. But, I mean, I think the Rams, because of their defense, is going to force they're going to force Jalen Hurts and them to have to throw the ball. And I'm not saying that he can't, but if I'm taking my chances on the Eagles running all over me or the Eagles throwing the ball, I'm taking my chances on the Eagles throwing the ball. So I got the Rams winning close one, 21-20. Tampa and the Jets, I'm going with Baker and the Bucks. Obviously, this is their first home game back in Tampa for the year. They're going to get a win for the home crowd. Raiders, Commanders, Marcus Mariota playing, not Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels hurt. I think this could be a game. This is a game where Geno and them kind of get a get back without Jaden being on the field. I think the Raiders get a win in Washington. And then 4:05 slate of games, Broncos, Chargers. I'm going with the Chargers. I think they get a win in LA against the Broncos.
That should be a pretty good game, I think.
It should be, yes. Hawks and Saints. I'm going with the Seahawks. Jackson Smith and Jigba will be playing today. Man, dude's a monster with Sam Darnold.
I love it for fantasy.
Yeah, so we're going with the Seahawks. Cowboys, Bears. I mean, the battle of the toilet bowl here. I mean, this is just awful. But I'm going with the Cowboys just because I can't. Nothing Caleb has done this year has made me go, all right, they can beat the Cowboys.
It haven't made you go, wow.
Yeah, like that? No, wow. Cardinals, Niners. I'm going with the Cardinals. I think Mac Jones has
been playing well.
Yep. Cardinals have been playing really good. It is Mac Jones still at the end of the day that's going to be playing. So, no George Kittle. I think Arizona can come in here and sneak one in San Francisco today.
All right. Yeah.
Horrible Sunday night football game. Chiefs, Giants. I think Chiefs get their first win of the year. If they don't beat the Giants, I think it's time to smash the panic button. And then Ravens, Lions. Electric Monday night football game in Baltimore. But as we talked about in the season preview, Baltimore doesn't lose to NFC teams. Lamar Jackson in specific doesn't lose to NFC teams. So I'm going with the Baltimore Ravens to win Monday Night Football.
I like it.
There.
I think the only other pick, the only thing I would change in this would be maybe the Vikings and the Bengals. I think the Vikings pull it out at home. Other than that, though, I like the picks.
So there we go. Which Bills won Thursday night, which actually, ironically, was a decently good Thursday night football game.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, Miami is hitting that panic button too.
Oh, they've got to be. And so here's the thing, and this is what somebody said. We talk about what does Miami need to do. Here's the thing. I don't know unless, we get further into this season and a coordinator just starts popping off, and getting in their bag. I don't know if you're going to find a better coach than Mike McDaniel. So I think what you do is you fire if you're the owner, you fire the GM. And I'm trying to trade Tua as quickly as I possibly can for whoever and whatever. And then just take my chances with drafting or maybe signing a new quarterback, in the offseason and just trying that way. And then after next year, if it's a failure, you fire Mike McDaniel, try your chances somewhere else. But listen, I think Tua's just had too many injuries throughout his career for him to have been Tua would have been, I think, a very, very good quarterback.
Yeah, I agree.
In the NFL. He had the hip injury in college, which I think took a lot out of his throwing. Your hip takes a lot out of your throw power and everything. I think that took a big hit on him. I mean, he definitely came back. He was scared to throw it sometimes. You could tell at Alabama because of, how he was moving. Again, takes a lot of power out of your throws. And then, obviously he's had all the, where he's damn near died on the field twice. I mean, I just think it's been a lot for him. And I me, when he was at Bama, I was a big Tua fan. But it's just been, I think it's just been a lot to deal with for him throughout his career. And I think it's too much to overcome.
And that does suck. And also, I mean, Tyreek Hill is going through all kinds of stuff. I mean, he's got possible legal battles and stuff coming up with some domestic violence, I've heard.
Yeah, which first of all was wild for
the way they announced
Thursday Night Football to bring that
Yeah,
up.
I know.
Extremely wild. That's up there with the Ray Davis being, an orphan.
An orphan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was horrible to bring up on national TV.
Yeah, and that sucks for Tyreek Hill. I mean, I hope none of it's true, but if it is, he needs to do better. But it's a distraction nonetheless. Just, just like Tua's lingering injuries that, I'm sure the team is worried about. Now you got Tyreek Hill, your other superstar, that can't stay out of the news. Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I think what you said, like fire the GM, and go that route first, I think is probably great, because then I think they could come in and be like, all right, Tua, we're going to go a different route. I think we trade Tyreek Hill and try and get something for him and clean house and clear distractions.
Get some cap space back.
That too. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and listen, and this is why I say don't fire Mike McDaniel, because when Tua's been 100% healthy, essentially, he led the league in passing. We saw what Mike McDaniel could do with the offense.
Well, he's got a bag.
So
I just don't think
it's kind of like Shane. It's kind of like Shane Steichen. We knew Shane Steichen had a bag. He's just never had the quarterback to open it up to. And now he does, and you're seeing that bag get opened by Shane Steichen. So I think same thing with Mike McDaniel. You just got to get a quarterback in there that can run you, that can do the things you want him to do. The problem is with Tua is even if you trade him, I don't know who would want him is the problem. I think there'd be one perfect team, and I know because it's who the coach is. Listen, if he got traded to the Rams to just sit behind Matthew Stafford for the next year or two and then take over the McVay system, I think it'd be fine. But
yeah.
But yeah, that's what I would do. Fire your GM, find a new GM, trade Tua, trade Tyreek, get some cap space back out of that, draft a new quarterback. And then if, after next year, you don't like the direction that it's going with a new quarterback and Mike McDaniel, you get rid of McDaniel. But if not, I just don't see you're going to find a better option than Mike McDaniel right now. So, and then lastly, we will wrap things up. Would you call this the main event of an electric weekend? Like the highlight of the electric weekend?
Yeah. Only because it only happens, every 2 years? So
the Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
We have the Ryder Cup this weekend, along with all the great football games we talked about, college and pro. You have the Ryder Cup next weekend, and it starts on Friday. Foursomes match starts at 7:10. So tee times for those are 7:10, 7:26, 7:42, and then 7:58. And then 4-ball match on Friday starts at 12:25, and that's the Friday slate of things. And then Saturday, foursome matches start at 7:10. Once again, same tee times, same with 4-ball on Saturday. And then Sunday, singles matches start at 12:02.
Yeah, I mean, this is I think this is a pretty important tournament for the U.S.
Now, we don't know who the teams are for these foursomes just yet. But listen, I need Bryson DeChambeau and Scotty Scheffler injected into my veins on a team together.
It would be electric for sure.
7:10 tee time Friday, if I hear it's Bryson and Scotty versus Rory and Jon Rahm first tee time, I would...
2 LIV, 2 PGA.
I would absolutely lose it.
I mean, I don't see how they don't do it. Just for pure entertainment.
Ratings.
Yeah, just for pure entertainment. And for people, and I have a couple thoughts, but I want to go through the teams real quick for people who don't know. So for the U.S., the people who made automatically qualified with points was obviously Scotty Scheffler, because the dude's insane. He just wins everything. Xander Schauffele, JJ Spawn, Russell Henley, Harris English, and somehow, this is insane, that Bryson DeChambeau made it on points, who only played in like a select number of tournaments on the PGA Tour. So that's actually insane. Those are the automatic qualifiers for it. And then there's 6 captain picks from Keegan Bradley. There was some, controversy of like, should Keegan Bradley be playing himself as a playing captain? He decided against that, which we know as competitors, you understand why. There's some pretty good young talent out there. So, but obviously, you got a vet, Justin Thomas, Colin Morikawa, who have both won and they know how to win. Ben Griffin, Cam Young, Patrick Cantlay, and then Sam Burns, who have all played pretty well in the recent weeks. So we have some really good golfers on the U.S. side that we just got to put it together and get some dubs. So, all right, so that's the USA team. For the European team, the automatic qualifiers were Rory, Robert McIntyre, Tommy Fleetwood, Justin Rose, Rasmus Højgaard, and then Tyrell Hatton. And then Luke Donald is the captain for the Europeans, and his picks were Shane Lowry, Victor Hovland, Matt Fitzpatrick, John Rahm, Sepp Straka, and Ludwig Oberg, who, unfortunately, those guys are great too. So it's like, I think this match is going to be very close this year. Last year, it looked like the Europeans won 16.5 to 11.5, which is not close. In 2021, we beat their ass 19-9. But this is on U.S. soil and Bethpage, which is in New York.
You got to do it.
We got to do it. Okay. Now,
and listen, I think the advantage we have is Scotty Scheffler, because Scotty can put together 3 days of amazing golf himself.
You made for a follow up. You said 3 days. These lift guys only play 3 days.
Yeah, Bryson. So this.
I think you're gonna see Bryson and Rahm play very well in only a 3-day format, and I think those are the only those are the only live guys out there. So yeah, I mean, it's get ready, people.
It's an electric.
It's going to be great.
Again, teams haven't been made for these foursomes just yet, but I need the Scotty and Bryson duo. I need it.
It's, I think if I'm Keegan Bradley, you go to Scotty and you say, who do you want to play with? Because obviously it's really up to him, I would say. I think Scotty Scheffler will do it, whatever, I guess. But I think if you if you're Keegan Bradley, you say to your main superstar, the best player in the world right now, who do you want to be partnered up with? I mean, it could be Justin Thomas too. That he gets paired up with, who matches the energy. But yeah, man, why not do?
I mean, you want to talk about match energy, though. Bryson and Scotty would bring the energy.
I mean, I think they should do that pairing for the match every year in December. They should treat it like that instead of doing just 2 random golfers, where they did, well, not random golfers, but 2 PGA and 2 live. But yeah, like I'm very excited for this. There's going to be multiple TVs on over the weekend.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So that's all we got. Electric week of sports. So we'll have a lot to talk about next week.
Yep. Remember, like, comment, subscribe if you liked this episode or another. So we'll see you guys next week. Peace.